Before we get into today's episode on Life of a Female Tradie podcast, I'm dropping a quick nudge for you to hit that follow, like, subscribe button wherever you are listening. It all helps build the show more than you could ever know. Now that's done, let's get to the guest.
Hello, my name is Helga. I run Inside Studio from Cheltenham, which is a company that helps property developers, architects, and interior designers visualize their projects through high-end visualization like CGIs, walkthroughs, animations, all that sort of thing. And I also do interior design for people that are looking to either renovate a space or have a new home and need some help with their interiors.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the podcast, Helga. Lovely to see you again, because obviously we met last year down in Cheltenham. I came down to Built by Her event and we met there, didn't we?
Yes, it's been a few months since then. It was a great event, great to meet like-minded people in similar industries or different industries as well. But yeah, it's been, I think, like 4 or 5 months maybe. So yeah, time flies.
Sure does. It sure does. I like to start the show by asking my guests to just tell the listeners a little bit about themselves so that we can understand your background. So, where did education, jobs, that sort of thing, where did it all start for you?
Yeah, so my background is a bit mixed. Obviously, I'm not from the UK. I'm from Colombia in South America. And I was born and I lived there. I did my university there. I studied architecture. So I'm a Colombian architect, not UK architect.
Okay.
I did my studies there. Then I worked for about 6 years for a practice architecture, which was great because I started while I was in uni. And I feel that university is great for general concepts and knowledge, but when you're actually working on the practice, it's where you get your real like understanding of work and not just architecture, but about how to work with other people and all of that. So yeah, then I think it was about 6 years ago, March 2020, which was a crazy time, but I moved to the UK. I think it was the 13th of March to the UK because I wanted a change from Colombia. Nothing wrong. It's just very different lifestyles. And I got a job here with an architect. I went to the office one day and then we went into lockdown.
Oh,
um,
wow.
so yeah, it was quite a shock. But yeah, then after that, I mean, it was very complicated because yes, I had a lot of experience in Colombia, but I've never had any experience with UK architecture. Like I had no idea what a stud wall was. We don't do timber frame where I'm from or building regulations, the different climate. Like it's always 35 degrees there. Here you have the cold, the hot, the medium, the rain, the snow sometimes. So it was a
Yeah.
lot of adjusting and learning, which was great because I was lucky that I was in a practice that the director was very patient
Well,
and
that's good.
yeah, very skilled. So yeah, that's when I started my journey in architecture in the UK. Mm. And then a few years later, I quit that job just because it was getting a bit too small. And then I found another job here in Cheltenham. So I moved here, picked up a bigger practice. And then last year, beginning of the year, I had something in me that was telling me that I needed to switch things up a little bit. And I have always enjoyed doing the visualization and the interior design side of things. So I said, you know, why not? If I don't try it now, I'm never gonna know. So yeah, then I built Inside Studio in June, and it's been a few months since.
Amazing. So you're now working for yourself?
I am now self-employed. Yeah,
Whoop,
so
whoop.
I then I think yeah, if I call myself that I have a company because all the you have to register, but I'm a sole
Yeah.
trader. But the idea is to become a registered company eventually. But yes, I'm self-employed, and it's been great. I mean, it's been the best decision I think I could have make.
Wow. I love that. Amazing. I was actually going to ask, as you were saying there, what major differences do you see between building architecture in Colombia to the UK? Like, what are the major differences?
I think one of the things that I don't know if the word is shocked me, but that was quite striking is that the all the listed buildings in the UK and everything that they
Okay.
come with, all the we have here buildings that are from 1800s or I don't know, 1,000 years old. Like my parents came to visit and I took them to a church and the church was, I don't know, almost, I don't know, I cannot even remember, but a crazy number. And where I'm from, my city, it's only 200 years old.
Okay.
So
Wow.
everything is modern. There's a few like Art Deco, brutalism, the architecture styles. We have a lot of Spanish influence, so it's a lot of colorful houses. But there's no such thing as like the protection for the listed buildings, like here. That if you want to do a renovation, you have to be very careful if it's a listed building. Back home, I think people don't protect their heritage as much. We see it's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Although there are some buildings that are not really very nice, but environmentally it's not very good either. So it's tricky. So yeah, we don't have that protection, I would say, or that or also building regulations like U values and comply with a level threshold, like nothing, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's extensive hoops to jump through in the UK, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. And I understand now that I've been here working 6 years in this field. Because at the beginning, I wasn't, well, I'm an architect, I studied architecture in Colombia, I've been working in Colombia, but when you get to the detail, you do understand like, okay, this is why they are here a lot more like structure with their regulations, and it makes sense to be fair. Like my dad is an architect.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to work for him before I moved to the UK for 6 years.
Wow.
Mm,
So it runs in the blood then.
yeah, it does. My family is huge. We are like 50 between cousins, uncles, and everyone. And I think there are 3 or 4 architects. There are a few artists. So it's in there somewhere.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a few different things to, adapt when you make such a
Mm.
big move.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, almost moving to the other side of the world in itself is a big thing to deal with. To then kind of, I guess it was almost a bit of retraining in your field, wasn't it? To learn the ins and outs of a new way of building. How did you find that? Did you find it difficult, or did you embrace the challenge?
I was ready to embrace the challenge. That doesn't mean it was
Yes.
easy. It was challenging, especially or the technical language as well. Because I was able to, I,
Ah,
I used to speak English. I could have a conversation with someone, but whether I didn't know how to say skirting board in English, or I don't know, so many terms that you don't really think when you learn a language that you're gonna have to use them at the time. But obviously, I moved here and
yeah.
then I started working in it and I started specifying, a bulkhead ceiling. And it's like, what is that? Not that I didn't knew what it was in Spanish, but it was all of the
Yeah.
actual words were like, and now it's even crazy because I know how many of these things say are called in English, and I have no idea how they are called in Spanish. So yeah, it's
Oh,
tricky.
wow. Yeah, I didn't actually think of that. Wow, you really did jump in head first then.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it's been worth it. I mean, I think the first year was always the hardest for everyone to
Yeah.
understand and adjust. And obviously, I'm still learning every day. I'm very self-taught, and if I don't know something, I always try to understand it and search and make it work. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you know you don't even plan for it. They just come up. Even like when you have to go to site. all the health and safety stuff is quite different here than back home. So, it's a lot of things that you adjust.
Yeah, yeah. That is a big thing, for females in the construction industry as well, making sure that they've got the right PPE that fits and is comfortable to wear. Is that something that is that a barrier that you maybe have come up against finding proper PPE for yourself, or have you found it quite easy?
Yeah, I am a very small person. So every time that I go to site, I just look, like a midget with huge shoes because it's tricky to find size 3.5, boots. And then all the vests are huge. And then you wear a helmet, and then you're like this tiny person. And then they think you're just a child on site. So I have had that. Or sometimes they thought that I was like the daughter of the architect. And I'm like, no, I'm working here.
Oh,
So
bless
yeah,
you.
it's, yeah, it can be challenging.
Yeah. Those sort of comments, have they ever affected you? And have they kinda stuck? Have you ever been in a tricky situation where you've thought, "Didn't actually like what you said to me there?"
I think that it hasn't stuck as much. I think that I have managed to build now a thick skin. I think
Okay.
when you move out of your comfort zone, like I did, you kind of adjust to having a lot of things said, good and bad. And I think when you go to site, one of the challenging things is to try to stand out for yourself and be confident and say what you want and how you want it. And yes, it's tricky because when you have a lot of guys on site and you're this tiny person telling them this is not like this, it's like that, it's like, well, no. But then I think you learn at the beginning it was difficult. I think I used to go to site and I didn't set anything. Like I was just looking and I used to go with the director and he was doing all the talk. And well, everyone that I've worked with had loads of experience, so they knew how to be on site and, because it can be tricky. There's lots of banter as well. But yeah, I think I've built my tough skin now with comments like
Okay.
that.
That's good, that's good. I can only imagine what it must have been like for you to start with, yeah, not only your stature, as you say, being quite a small
Mm,
person,
yeah.
but also obviously having quite a strong accent as well and still learning the English terms for stuff. That
Yeah, I
that
had
must
a
have
lot of
been quite tricky.
yeah, I had a lot of people sometimes. I don't know if you can get in your head, but sometimes you think people are laughing because you say something the one way and not the other. So
Okay.
yeah, also, I learned American English because in Colombia, everyone learns American English because it's closer. I don't know. And when
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
moved here, I had to adjust even the way I spoke English. Like whenever I go to Colombia, um, and I hear my friends, like if my partner comes around and they speak with him in English, and it's like they speak very different to you. And I'm like, well, I used to speak like that, but I had to adjust it. So at work, it was like, "Oh, don't speak like an American," and I'm like, "Wow,
Wow,
I don't think
yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of adjusting to the language and the terminology, and yeah, having an accent does sometimes makes you feel like, am I confident enough to say what I'm thinking, even if it's not grammatically correct? But the beginning, I was very holding back a lot because it was like embarrassing to say something and it came across the wrong way. But now I'm like, you know what? If they understand, they understand. If they don't understand, they can just ask, and that's it.
That's it, it's their problem.
Yeah, you cannot just stop. I'm already making my effort, speaking another language, working here, doing all of these things, adjusting quite a lot, you know. And I think people now that they like I think I'm a bit more confident in myself, people do realize like, oh, it's fine. And there's loads of people like me working in the UK in similar industries that have to do the same
Yeah,
sort of thing. So yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think you're doing a great job personally, and I totally get the whole English and American English thing. The word that springs to mind is aluminium because
Yeah, aluminum.
yeah, aluminum, like what?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
dear me,
complicated. Yeah, tomato,
isn't it?
tomato.
That's it, yeah, and that one.
And the other one that I struggled a lot because I used to live in Worcester, but obviously you spell Worcester. So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I live in Worcester, and my friends were like, but you don't. You live in. When I used to speak with friends back home, and they were like, no, it says Worcester, and I was like, no, it's Worcester. So yeah, the pronunciation.
yeah. It's one of the
Yeah,
silliest spelt words in English, honestly. Like, what is the C and the E doing there?
I used to think that Leominster was a different place because it's spelled Leominster, and I always, honestly, always thought that it was just another place in the UK, and then I realized it's the same place.
That's it. We just do it to confuse people, I'm sure.
You live and you learn.
That's it, that's it. So, if I asked you to give us 3 key attributes that you feel someone would need to do your kind of role, what do you think that they might be?
I think in terms of attributes, I would say someone that it's design driven. Like I love creating CGIs and I love interior design, but I really enjoy when I get the freedom to create the actual space and it's not led, by the client. So
Okay,
design driven, I think someone that is willing to always update their learning because software is always changing. Like I have been using the same softwares that I've been using for, I don't know, 10, 11 years now. And from the beginning, they have changed so much. So it's always that you have to always constantly be learning and updating and what's new, how does that impact, new work coming in.
okay.
And I had another attribute. Think that I think maybe trying to also understand other people's mind, if that makes
So be
sense.
open-minded, I guess.
Be
Yeah,
open-minded and also like, because I think that in interior design, especially, there is a lot of people that like to put their brand, their style, signature on their designs. Whereas
okay.
I think that's great because we all have like our own kind of personal style. But when you're working with so many different people, you cannot expect everyone to like what you like, and everyone is so different. So it's a bit of being open minded, understanding what they want, and how you can translate and materialize that into a design. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
And what aspects of design and architecture is it that you love the most? Is it the creative freedom that you can have from projects or on projects rather?
Yeah, I think there are a few things. One of the things that I really enjoy, and I realized this last year, that I had a small project. It wasn't something very big, but the way that I came with the ideas and the actual project made quite a positive impact on the person and how they live their lives. And I think in architecture, it's quite good to know, how something that you design can improve and be a positive impact on someone else's life. I quite like that. And yeah, also the creative side, like especially when I'm doing CGIs, I have had a few cool projects. Like there was a former cinema here in Cheltenham, and the client and the architect, I was working with the property developer and the architect, and they came and they were like, "Well, we're converting this into a house. Here are the drawings, do the images and the fly through," and that was the brief. They just said kind of be Art Deco inspired because there's like Art Deco style in the building. So it was quite nice to be able to put whatever I wanted in there and just show it to them, and they were like, "Yeah, this is great, thank you, bye." And then,
Wow.
it was, yeah, to have that creative input in design and in the CGIs itself. It's quite nice.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the creating a space for the client that helps improve their lifestyle. I think that is probably something that sticks with me through being a decorator. Is obviously I'm there to improve that space or that area of their home for them to then live calmly or vibrantly or just be themselves and feel comfortable. So I'm with you on that, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's so important to, well, I personally um have a positive impact on other people. And like you say, like if you're on a space and it's horrible, like it's not, you know, it's gonna impact on how they live. If you can change that, remodel, refurbish everything, it's gonna have such a big impact on how people live their lives. So yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And if you could list your top 3, I'm putting you on the spot here, I know. These are
Oh my
kind of
God.
things that these are things that popped into my head this morning, and I'm like, "Yes, I've got to ask her that."
Yeah.
If you could list your top 3 favorite architectural buildings or sites in the whole world, what would they be?
Wow. That's a very tricky question.
Sorry.
I love an architect that was called Oscar Niemeyer, and he was Brazilian, and I had the opportunity to go and see some of he has like I think it's called like the architectural walk tour or something like that in Rio de Janeiro. And I did that, and his style is very organic and very like realistic in a way. So if you Google him later on, you see like he was brilliant. I think he died a few years now, but he was
Okay.
brilliant, and seeing like some of his buildings there, that was just surreal. Like how is that even buildable? Things with huge overhangs, things that are, I don't know, all the curves that, how do you even draw that? That's where 3D visualization comes in because you can put it together. But I don't know if when he designed all of these buildings, however many, many years ago, there were the right tools to create what we can do now with all the software. So I'm like, it's amazing how
Yeah.
these buildings, were done. So some of the Oscar Niemeyer buildings in Rio, I cannot remember the exact names. That's Portuguese.
That's all right.
I'm done with Spanish and English. um, I think another architect or another building I quite like. There's a Japanese architect called Tadao Ando, and he does a lot of work with lighting and
Ooh.
concrete. So when he designs spaces, the way he designs it, the lines comes in a different way. Again, I cannot remember the exact names, but I think it's brilliant to, understand how the environment and how the basic sun path will affect the interior of a building. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too much of a fan of um like too many detailed, like, or that sort of architecture. However, I quite like some of the buildings from, what's the guy that did the Sagrada Familia in Spain? Uh,
Ooh. I know
But
the
I've
building, but
been,
I don't know his name.
yeah, so in Barcelona, you can go into the different buildings that he did. And yes, there's so much detail. Like, I'm just not used to the detail in architecture because in Colombia everything is modern. So we are not designing, you know, and nowadays you don't really design with all of this ornamental stuff. But his buildings have so much detail and so much like passion and the way they were created. But yeah, some of his projects, especially in Barcelona, seeing how much detail he put into it, and it works, perfectly fine with all of the windows that look like a face. I don't know, it's just crazy.
It is mind blowing when you come across that sort of detail, especially with the age behind it. Like you say, so many years ago, how and what did they use to create such sculpted buildings or different shapes of buildings, like the curves or the things like that. Yeah, it blows my mind. I haven't got the foggiest of ideas how they managed it, but it is stunning, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely.
crazy. It's crazy.
Now, I assume with your role being fairly desk and chair based, that you're obviously quite sedentary during most days of the week. How do you keep healthy and keep fit?
Yeah, well, I joined the half marathon this year,
That's
but
amazing. Well done.
I have never run in my life.
Good for you then.
I'm embracing things this year.
Yes.
I do gym often. I try to go to gym 3, 4 times a week and do weight training. But I feel that this year was like I feel like I need to do more cardio. I used to do like HIIT workouts, but then
Did you?
yeah, something changed at the gym and now they all they do is this thing called high rocks.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
But you know, I can do it once, but it's not like something that I want to be training every day. So that's why I'm mixing it up with a bit of running. I bought my running shoes.
Cool.
I think it was on Thursday. It was quite sunny, and it was the first time that I went on an outdoor run. And I realized, oh God, I need to proper prepare because it's not the same as running with a treadmill. So yeah,
I've heard, yeah. I'm not much of a runner at all, never really have been. I've been more of a team sports kind of person or the
uh,
gym, but I have been told by runner friends that it is very different running on the pavement or road running to running on a treadmill. But yeah, fair play for joining half marathon.
I know it feels crazy. Thank you, but yeah, there's so many things. Like, I want to get my running shoes, and I go, yeah, I'm size 3, 3.5 sometimes, and they were like, no, you need to be size 6, 5. Like, we're like, what? What do you mean?
What?
It's just like, yeah, because you need all of this space inside the shoe when your feet swallow and all of these things that I had no idea. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to learn to do it as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not scared of the run. I think I am a bit conscious of the training before the run, just because when it rains and it's cold outside, it's tricky to be like, "Oh,
yeah.
I'm just gonna go for an hour run," type of thing, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Good for you. Yeah, it takes some willpower to get out in the rain and the cold at this time of year, doesn't it?
I know.
Definitely.
I don't know. I don't know how people do it like in during proper winter months when it's snowy and everything, and people do it.
They do. Yeah.
Guess it's the mindset.
That's it. It is strong mindset, and it looks like you're on the path. So yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Now, I like to ask my guests how social media impacts their job, their role, their business. Is it something that you, now that you're self-employed, is it something that you are trying to embrace more of in sharing your work and your personality?
110%. But I feel that at the moment, well, not right now because I am doing it now, but it's such an opportunity, especially with all of these different channels to share what you do, especially when you like what I do is so visual, like all the CGIs and design and styles, and it's so much that you can show and share. Also, I keep saying it takes a lot of time just because I keep procrastinating it. But yeah, this year I am completely decided to do it. I actually, in fact, had a meeting with a friend that she's great at all of this social media stuff. And we put together a calendar with the ideas, and it was really good because it helped me to kind of land on what I need to do. Because I was like, oh my God, how am I going to create content to publish it 3 times a week, plus do all of the work that I need to be doing and the admin and have a life. And it was good just to kind of organize it in a way where you kind of divide it by sections. And it was like, okay, today I'm gonna do full on 5 hours and on this section and finish it. And you can schedule it. So there are ways to do it. So I think there's the big opportunity for anyone that works, in anything that can be shared. Like I love watching when people are building furniture. It's amazing. And like when you're transforming a room, when you're painting a mural, when you're, when the room is horrible and then you walk in and it's this huge, like, wow, it's all, yeah. There's a big opportunity now, I think, with social media. I'm trying to stay active on LinkedIn because I think LinkedIn is great for the type of clients or people that I want to reach. And Instagram, it's good to, showcase your projects and maybe reach out to more people that are doing similar things that what you're doing, even international. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good combination, really, I think, for you. Not that I'm a expert, but yeah, LinkedIn is very much for a professional, isn't it?
Yeah.
It like a yeah, it's very business driven, whereas Instagram is obviously the visual platform where you can showcase projects and just share a bit of your personality on a personal level. So yeah, great
Yeah.
combo for you to focus on. It would be interesting to see what this calendar brings out of you.
I know, it's crazy. I have three sections. One section that is supposed to be to showcase my projects, because also you have to know what your audience is, at what time you have to post it. Then you have to do like the 7-second videos that are like the snappy ones that are gonna catch people's attentions, and then the longer videos, which will be me speaking. I got a microphone here. So I'm
Yep,
ready.
yep.
I got a microphone and I got
Love
a
it.
tripod for Christmas. So I'm ready.
Hey, go on, Gil.
And then like another section that will be sharing, these are the top 5 color combinations that are going to change your life. And then you make a strong hook and then you make this and you make that. So yeah, it's a lot of
It's
thinking.
so involved, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah. Right. So, have you got any big projects that you can share with us that are coming up this year, or any events that you're going to?
Events, I'm always going to all of the Build by Her events. I think they are great. They are so nice and friendly and open, and it's always nice to hear other people that are like on the same journey that you are, same path. Some of
Absolutely.
them a lot ahead, some of them only starting. I think one of the nice things about networking is when you tell someone your story and it's very well received and it's very like positive, like, wow, it looks great what you're
Yeah.
doing and, keep on the good work. So that's always like reassuring that, you makes you feel proud that you are doing what you're doing. So yeah, I'm trying to find the right networking events that will work for me as well, not just the Built by Her, but more like driven to, maybe property
Yeah.
or stuff like that. There are so many. I have been to so many.
Isn't there?
Some, yeah, trying to find out which one the right is for me. I have a couple book like there's a few here in Cheltenham, like Cotswold Networking, Property Breakfast, Property Talk. I don't know. There's so many, but yeah. And in terms of something big coming, just stay tuned to my socials because I'm ready for
Here we
this
go.
change. I'm working on a very cool project at the moment, which is a wellness center. And I'm working with the architects, and it's like a building raising from the ground because the building it's on a very tricky location, and the planners don't like a building there, so it's gonna be all like a grass roof, a sedum roof, but it's kind of like blending into the ground, which will have some different like shapes, like leaf shape, skylights. So yeah, it's a cool project
Wow.
in the making.
That sounds insane. I can't wait to see more of that.
There's a few projects. I That's why I love working with architects as well because sometimes with property development, I feel a bit more straightforward where there's a new home and you kind of do the dressing of the home and it's for selling. But also sometimes with the architects, you get all that creative side. So, you get the cinema conversion. Another project that is coming, I just remember, it's a church conversion into like
Ooh,
private residence. So it's gonna be this huge, like 3-story spaces, and it's like trying to visualize it and think of what will work for this. So there's a few things coming up. Yeah,
exciting.
yeah,
Keep your eyes peeled, people, because there's some
yeah,
cool projects coming.
yeah,
Amazing.
definitely. Thank you.
Wow. So we've come to the point where I like to do a quick fire question round. Are you
Hmm.
ready?
I think so. I was born ready.
Oh, yeah, that's what we like.
Mm.
Okay, so tea or coffee?
Oh, coffee, 100%. I haven't got the English tea with milk thing. It's not my jam. So
No.
yeah, coffee. And honestly, coffee doesn't even do anything to me. Like it doesn't wake me up, but I just love the flavor. I'm from Colombia, You start drinking coffee when you're like 12. So
I
it's
was gonna
in your
say.
blood.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Open floor plan or defined spaces?
That's tough one because I've been doing some research now and open floor plans work really well when the space it's well designed. But I feel like if the space is not big enough, then it might be better to have your separate ones. And now there's a trend apparently coming on 2026 that all of these open floor plan spaces are out. They are not on trend anymore because people are realizing that they like these more intimate spaces, that they will prefer to have, the kitchen separated to a living room. So it's tricky. I
Okay.
think I'm gonna go for maybe open floor plan as long as you can have a separate, like snug living room. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Home cooking or takeaway?
Or home cooking. I think that we were looking, my partner and I, at our takeaway list from last year, and it was only like 5 takeaways in the whole year, which I think that's very low.
Really
So
low,
yeah,
yeah.
I love cooking. So yeah,
Do
I
you?
prefer home
Is
cooking.
it
Yeah.
something what's like a Colombian staple dish?
Obviously, arepas, which is like a corn cake, savory. You can have it for breakfast, so you can put like eggs and avocado, or you can have it for lunch and you can put like pulled pork or pulled beef or anything. And then, or you can have it for dinner, just with cheese, with ham and cheese. It's so versatile.
Oh, I'm
um,
hungry now.
yeah, I'm having arepas later.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Driver or passenger?
Driver in Colombia, passenger in the UK. I passed my test, my driving test here, and I did it. I only had 2 minors. I heard people usually have like
Skills?
6, so it wasn't bad.
Mm,
But I think that
yeah.
because I have always worked where I live and I've never had to drive anywhere. I haven't like bought a car, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna spend 200 or 300 pounds on insurance and this. Plus, my
Yeah.
experience doesn't count. So I'm counted as a new
Oh,
driver, but I'm planning on getting a car eventually sometime later this year because I have had a few people calling me for different projects, and when it's like in the outskirts of Cheltenham, I'm having to take a scooter that
okay.
leaves me
Wow.
in the middle of somewhere where it reaches and then walk. I had a meeting once in like Hampton Hill and the scooter dropped me like halfway there. And then it wasn't summer last year. I got there and it was so hot. One of the hottest day in the UK. So yeah, I need a car basically.
So that's on the cards. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So next one, interior or exterior designs?
Interior design, definitely. I feel you can be a bit more personal and sometimes I don't know if the word is creative, but there are so many ways. Well, I think guess this works for both, but so many ways that you can imagine a space and change it and be completely different. So, but I prefer interiors, I think.
Okay. Okay. And one I ask to everybody, dogs or cats?
Oh, dogs. I've had three schnauzers that they all, well, they passed a few years ago. But now we have one schnauzer called Dale. He's still in Colombia. He's
Is he?
lovely. He's great.
Oh,
But when I moved to
cute.
UK, my mom was like, I'm not gonna look after any dog. So I find a family for Theo. And I was like, okay. And then 6 months later, he sleeps in their bed in pajamas with air conditioning, like by them on the literally next to them. So yeah,
What a
now they
guy.
love him. Yeah,
He's won him
he's
over.
very chill. He's great. So definitely dogs. Yeah.
Awesome. And last one, less is more or more is more?
I think more can be more when it's done the right way. Like, I
Okay.
love a good eclectic design when there's loads of combinations of different styles and they can look, I mean, not everyone loves it, but they can look like quite crowded or quite a lot of things. But when they are done the right way, they can be amazing. So,
Mm,
yeah, it depends on the space, but if it's done correctly, I think more can be more.
there we go. And my final three questions for you that I ask everybody, I'm going to word it a little bit different for you. If you could be a tradesperson on the tools, what would you choose and why?
I've seen these questions because I've been listening to your podcast and I have my answer ready.
Yes. Go on,
And
girl. Hit me.
I will be a joiner or carpenter just because I feel like designing your own piece of furniture and making it together and seeing it and using it will be great. So yeah, I think I'll be a joiner.
Great choice. Great
Yeah,
choice. Very
I
popular.
love that.
Yeah.
I think I like to think that I'm skilled in DIY stuff, so I think it could work as well. But yeah,
Okay. Awesome. Good to know. Okay. And what trade or who do you think I should have on the show next?
I think, hmm, I'm trying to, I- I'm trying to think. I was listening to some like brickies. I'm also getting used to the terms, 'cause you've got bricky or sparky or this or that. So there's so many
Yeah.
nicknames. I think that someone that is on site, eh, like during the building process will be quite good. I don't know what's the actual
Okay.
name. I'm
Like a
lost
site
in
manager,
translation.
so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, it could be like a site manager that,
Okay.
gets on and have to handle a big group of different um that has
Tradespeople.
to handle tradespeople like that the
Yeah.
bricklayers are doing their job, that the grounds people are doing their job, that everything is coming together because it's a lot of work to be a site manager and stay on time and targets and
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that would be good to hear someone's
Mm,
experience that is very like on site. Yeah, managing people.
good choice. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that. I will have to get digging around, see if I can find somebody.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure there is.
There's got to be some, absolutely. So, ladies, any site managers, drop me a message. We need you on the show.
Yes, definitely.
Amazing. Cool. Okay. So, where can people find you, Helga? What's your LinkedIn and your Instagram?
So on LinkedIn, people can find me by my name, Helga Hines, and on Instagram, it's Insight Studio 3D. And yeah,
Okay.
there I am. I realized that I cannot pronounce Insight, and people think I'm saying Inside.
Well, for anyone that didn't get it, I'll be putting it in the show notes for you so you can simply just click on the links and it will take you to Helga's sites on Instagram and LinkedIn and get supporting her and follow along for her future social media projects that are going to be coming out. All right.
Get ready.
That's it. Yeah, get ready, people. Helga's
Yeah.
coming.
No, thank you for having me. It's been great to do something that I was never like expecting to do, and I'm sure we will meet again sometime soon. So yeah, thank you
I'm
for
sure
having
we
me.
will. You are more than welcome. And again, yeah, thank you for giving me your time. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.